What's up, guys? Yep, we're just we're here. We're going to be harvesting another deer that the good Lord has blessed us with. So we're going to get right into it, and also just going to maybe talk a little bit before I go to work because I have to go to work today. I got to be there around 6 o'clock. So yeah. Oh no, I need a bucket. Hold on. I need my bucket, my garbage bucket. Going to work, like I said. We are, ouch. Next Wednesday, I will be in Pennsylvania doing some deer hunting. Well, not on Wednesday. Officially, my first day of deer hunting when I go to Pennsylvania will be, if I'm remembering correctly, it'll be Saturday. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to go. It's going to be pretty awesome. So, very blessed that I was able to get this done, to get everything squared away. But I was also just very blessed that my wife's family has property up there so that I am able to hunt. So, just super blessed all around. Looking forward to doing it though. And like I said, right now I'm just harvesting the doe I shot a few days ago. So I'm not harvesting, I'm cutting it up. And this is going to be a similar. This is going to be very similar to the last deer. Just going to basically cube her up and kind of make her into kind of like just beat venison cubes, so I can put them in crock pots, things like that. Because like I said, I do have plenty of ground beef, but I don't have anything else. And I'm not a big fan, honestly, of venison ground beef. It's just one of those things where it's just not the thing that I like that much, personally. So it's just one of those things that, like I said, I do have ground venison, but the problem I have with it is it's just not my preferred method of doing it. And I have quite a bit of it, but I also, let's get that off. My family, tragically, does not like deer meat as much as I do, so it's kind of tragic. Well, maybe I should do the all messages. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, my family's not a big fan of ground or venison, tragically, but it is what it is. I mean, it's not like they don't have to like it if they did, but they don't, so it is what it is. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Worked last night. Had a good night at work. No issues, thankfully. So, yeah. What's up? We got people in the chat. Say hello, whoever you are. Glad you're here with us. Thank you for being here. Truly grateful. And this was a much bigger deer than the last one. I mean, the sheer size of this doe, like, she was big. I want to say, with all seriousness, this doe was well over 90 pounds gutted. I was honestly kind of amazed at how big she was. She was a very old mature doe. So yeah, like I said, we're just deboning everything, cutting it into cubes, and yeah, that's all we're doing. Nothing fancy here. This is very, very straightforward. And okay, so another, so like I said, I'm cubing this deer up, and one of the benefits to doing that is you don't have to worry about using your grinder to grinding it up, because I can attest to you guys, like, it's grinding a deer it's time consuming. And if you're just not wanting, a whole bunch of ground venison, I understand if you do, but if you don't want a whole bunch of it, my opinion, the best thing for you to do would be to just cube this thing up into little 1-inch cubes and then cook it in a crock pot. Some French onion soup, some beef broth, some vegetables. Absolutely delicious. Delicious. That's perfect right there. See that? Well, not all of it. There's some silver skin on that, but that's the idea. You just take it up, cube it, little pieces like that, and you're good to go. Pound of that, and you are squared away like that. That is absolutely perfect. Put about a pound of this. Who said hi? What's up, Emily? How are you? Very glad you're here with us today. But that's the best thing to do, especially if you don't want to take the time, because a lot of people honestly they take their deer places, and that's fine. Like, I get that. I just do everything in house because it's kind of just how I was raised. Everything I've done when it comes to hunting deer has been in house. What is up? Oh my goodness, I don't know if I can say your name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry. But hello to you. Thank you for being here. But yeah, I've basically done everything in house when it comes to deer hunting. I've hunted the deer myself. I butcher them myself. I take care of the meat. Everything I do is all in house. I hunt in open areas, no preserves. Just everything I do is 100% natural. Obviously, it's nowhere near like, my ancestors when they were hunting, but it's okay. I do the best I can, given the circumstances. Yeah. Let's get this off. This is gross, fatty silver skin. Oh yeah. Yuck. But I truly hope, because this year has been I'm not going to say a typical year, but generally speaking, this has been sort of a usual year for me. Last year was a crazy year, because last year I killed 2 of the biggest deer, the biggest bucks that I've ever killed in my life, all inside of a week. So I got to be honest with you guys, I got a little spoiled, and now I'm like, man, I really want to kill me a big buck, But I am truly grateful that I do have the deer that I have harvested, and it's just wonderful that I am given this opportunity to hunt, and I have a place to go. So let's get some of that fat and silver skin off. Right now I'm being a little picky. I'm just what's up? Must be been yeah, whatever. Yeah, what's up? How you doing? Um, this deer was way bigger than that little doe that I shot in muzzleloader season. Yeah, what I'll do is, like I said, I will take these deer and I will, basically, I'm going to take them and I'm going to seal them, vacuum seal them in a bag. And, whenever I'm getting a hankering for some crock pot venison stew, or I don't know what you would call it, soup, stew, whatever you want to call it, then I'll just cook it up. And I'll, like I said, I will throw about a pound of stuff like this. Basically, I'll throw a pound of stuff like that in the crock pot. And, yeah, you see, look at that. Boom. Right there. See? Put a pound of this in the crock pot on low. Let it cook for about, I don't know, 8 hours or so. And, yeah, go from there. It's crazy because I've actually had a lot of people actually come to me and been like, hey, would you mind giving me some of your deer meat? And I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fine with me. Like, I'm happy to share with anybody and everybody. Are you homeless? No. I am not homeless, thankfully, by the grace of God. Yeah. But I've had so many people come forward and been like, hey, could we get some deer meat from you? And I'm like, sure, yeah, that's fine. Just let me know, when you want it. And they're just like, and they tell me like, well, just whenever you get a deer, let me know. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Which that kind of helps me out. And I've done that. And the people that were recently who were asking for deer were like, oh, we can't take it right now. I'm like, oh, come on now. You just told me that you should bring it by whenever. And, it is what it is. It's fine. Not a big deal. Am I homeless? That's funny. What about you guys? How's everybody doing today? Y'all, I'm sure a lot of you guys are at work right now. I'm going to work here in about, I think it's a little past 2:30, but I'll be going to work here in a bit, working the night shift at my place of employment. But I'm pretty excited about going to Pennsylvania and do some hunting up there. I'm hoping and praying that by the grace of God, I'll be able to get something good. Something memorable, But, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's all there is to it. And like I said, I'm going to be hunting on my wife's family's land, which is very nice. Her grandfather owns, it's like, get off. Dang on it. One irritating thing. But her grandfather owns, it's like 80 or 90 acres in northern Pennsylvania, so really excited. I can't wait. You know, one of the other things, sometimes, like, I understand. Some people just absolutely hate processing a deer. And I don't know. Like, sometimes I understand that. Like, you're just kind of bound for time, you know, and you got things you got to do or what have you, and you just really just don't have time to do it. I get that. But at the same time, though, like, for me, though, this is therapeutic. Like, just being able to do this and being able to, you know, process the animal that I was able to harvest. Very fortunate. Now, I will say this. One of the interesting things about when you're processing the hams of the deer leg, it's very, it is a very tedious process. What's up, Adela? I think that's what this is. I can't really, there's a little bit of a glare, so I do apologize. But there is a lot, like some of the parts of the ham of the deer are pretty tough. But also, there's a lot of silver skin on the deer itself in the hams. So, I mean, it's not that hot out. It is warming up a little bit, so I might want to kind of need to maybe pick up the pace a little bit. But, you know, if it's a cold day and the deer is not in any case going to spoil due to the weather, just take your time with it. But like I said, I understand some people just take it to a processor, which, like I said, it's fine. No issue there. Some people just don't want to hassle of dealing with it, and I get that, because sometimes it is, you know, a tedious process. Lots of things that have got to be done. Because I tell you, one of the things that I hate the most because like I said, I do all the stuff in house. One of the things that is probably the most irritating is when you is when you harvest a deer, right? And then you leave it hanging, and then you go hunting the next day, and then you get something else, and you're like, oh no, now I'm all backed up. I have 2 deer I have to process. And I'll tell you right now, boys and girls, when it comes to processing your own deer, packaging it, all that stuff, one of the things that is absolutely the most difficult thing to do is doing not 1 deer, but 2 deer. It's very tedious, and it's a long process. It's really nice when you have somebody to help you, but sometimes you just don't have anybody to help you. But 1 deer, 1 deer is totally, processing 1 deer is very, very doable. Not that difficult to do. Just take your time with it, enjoy yourself, you know, just be grateful for the time that you get to do so, you know. That's how I see it. And I try to do that every time, you know. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat watching, or that's at least watching the videos, and those who have commented. Appreciate that. Taking a moment out of your day, spend some time with me. It's very nice. Silver skin. And like I said, one of the things that I try to really, really take care of a lot is the silver skin. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to get it all off, and that's okay. It's not going to ruin anything, at least for me it doesn't. But when it comes to deer, there's no question, if you can get, like, if you get all the silver skin off of a deer, there's a big difference from a deer like that. Like, see this right here, this is silver skin, really, really thin. That's silver skin. Really tough, and it's got a really um, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but I've ate both deer with I've ground deer and deer with silver skin, and then deer without. And the deer, what's up, son A? But I've eaten both, and the deer with the silver skin, they tend to have a very peculiar taste, and I know that's not helpful. I'm really trying hard to think of a word that can describe it because it's not normal. It tastes very man, really trying to think of something that can describe it. It has a very I don't want to use the word gamey because I don't like that term because everybody that eats deer is always like, oh, it tastes gamey. I'm like, well, it just doesn't taste like the beef that you're so used to eating that has chemicals and all sorts of crap in it. Because there is a difference. But it tastes different. When you take the silver skin off, you take time to take the silver skin off, it's a very different tasting deer. No question. How's everybody's work day going today? Busy day at work? Good day at work, hopefully? At least I hope so. Just kind of a small note. See, I'm actually a water plant operator. Um, I work at a water plant, and I basically treat water for uh, 2 towns, a county, and a college. And generally speaking, I'm very fortunate to where I've only had probably a few bad days. One of the bad days, which was last year, some of you may or may not know, all my North Carolina people, y'all, I know y'all remember, but the horrible flooding we had 2024 of October was absolutely insane. And I know some of you guys and girls are probably still feeling the effects of that, and I'm sorry. But that was probably the worst day I've ever worked, because I was working that day that we had that historical flooding, and let me tell you something, it was crazy. The water at one of our pump stations where we draw water from the river, then we pump it up to the treatment facility that I work, had one of the stations was almost underwater. So it was a crazy historical flooding. Oh, see right there, see this right here? This is that gland that you really need to get rid of right there. See this right here? There's a little like dark whatever in there. This right here, if you don't get this gland out and you grind it in with your deer meat, I promise you, it is going to make your meat taste absolutely horrible. Horrible. I would eat silver skinned deer every day of the week, twice on Sunday, as long as that gland is not in there. Because it's horrible. It's not by any means great. It's horrible. This actually did really well. So, what the process? I'll tell you. So, when I was able to harvest this deer, I did not get the opportunity to let it hang the way that I did the first deer. It was too warm. Couldn't do it. So, I basically filled my big cooler up with ice, and then I have an old. I don't submerge it in ice. I don't do that. But I have an old grill rack that I bent basically, and I made it so that I can put the meat above the ice. It's cold, and the meat doesn't sit and stagnate in its juice, and it just basically drips, and it becomes a little bit better. See. Really need to. Old squirrel across the creek there. I really need to remember to get some gloves. The one thing that I absolutely cannot stand is when I'm handling deer meat. My hands get kind of dried like this. It's the worst feeling in the world. I absolutely hate it. It's like one of the only things that is off-putting for me when it comes to deer, handling deer. So, yeah. But I've just never really ever I've never really used gloves. I have before in the past, but I just don't always do it. Somebody honking their horn. Guess somebody's either getting irritated with somebody on the road, or maybe they're honking to make sure that a deer doesn't run out in front of them. I'll tell you one thing. I try really hard to not be a road rage driver, but with the weather, we've had, not nice weather for hunting, obviously, but we've had really good weather in terms of like doing outdoorsy things. Like right now, like this is Southwest Virginia. I'm in short sleeves. I would argue it's almost 60 degrees outside right now. But one of the things that's kind of frustrating, especially in my area, is that I have so many people who love to cycle on the road. And I try really hard to not be angry at them when they're doing their thing, but I tell you what, some days they are irritating when they're on the road. I try not to be mean to them. Try to make sure that they're safe, But I will say this. They're supposed to be obeying the rules of the road. A lot of them do not obey the rules of the road. It's just a fact. If there are any cyclists in the chat, I'm sorry. Nothing personal. But I tell you one thing though, back on the Pennsylvania hunt that I'm going up to in less than a week, I got to figure out what the rut is doing up there. That's one thing that I really need to figure out, because the thing about it is like when I go to Pennsylvania, I can't just harvest whatever I want. I'm strictly held to harvesting a buck only. That's it. I do have a spring turkey tag and a fall turkey tag, but I'm not, as of now, I'm not looking to do that as of yet. I maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm only limited to harvesting a buck tag. I cannot do anything else other than that. And so I really got to figure out what the deer are doing, especially the bucks. And if the rut's still in, it's all gross. If the rut is still in, that sort of stuff. It's going to be, and luckily, I do have a whole week to hunt up there. I don't have to work. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for being here. Hope you are having a wonderful day at work or whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Hope that you're safe. But I have to figure out what the deer are doing. I have a week off from work. That's just how my work schedule is. I work a very weird work schedule where I get a week off once a month. It sounds great, but believe you me, what I have to do to get that time off is absolutely horrible, and I would not recommend it for anybody. So very nice. Very good. Like I said, deer is very lean, so there's a lot of people who like to put, you know, they'll put fat in it, things like that. Nothing wrong with that. I have put bacon. Now, I remember I tried this out one year, years ago. I took a deer and I ground a lot of smoked applewood bacon in it, and yeah, I did that one year, and I need to get rid of that. That's so one of the things you want to make sure. I don't know how or what happened here. Yeah, see, this right here is like gray matter. It's bad. It's not good. If you see gray, like really gray spots on your meat, you don't want that. So don't utilize that. There we go. Sometimes like it's kind of a bummer to get rid of that, but the gray matter is all on this side. Don't use that. It's bad. Not sure what that was from or why I did that. Could have been something that I did, but. And the one thing about it is, when the meat starts to go bad, like, you'll be able to tell very, very fast. I don't know if you've ever had any like bad meat, spoiled meat, like steak or ground beef or whatever, but it has that pungent, sweet, rotting smell, and it's bad. So same with deer meat. Deer meat's just, it's venison, but it's just another form of red meat. That's all it is. It's so funny because, like, the way that it looks right here, like the way I've cut it, like this almost looks like tuna. The way that it's like the grain in the meat is, and just the color, it almost looks like tuna. Cut this thin piece off. Nice. Some more silver skin off. And this has actually been a very easy deer to cut up so far, so knock on wood. My goodness, I could feel that heat from the sun on my back. It is very, it's getting very warm. Very warm. And for everybody out there who's kind of like either getting into hunting and you're a little overwhelmed with everything, you know, I'm more than happy to help anybody and everybody. If you have questions, I'll do everything I can to give you some good, accurate information. You know, I've got a couple videos out that could possibly help you. But if you just have questions, please just go on to one of my videos, comment, and be like, I promise you I'll get to you. I'll get back with you. I promise. But just go on one of my videos, comment, what your question is, and I'll do my best to answer everything I can to help you if you're wanting to get into hunting. Because I'll tell you one thing, tragically, hunting is becoming, it's a dying thing. We are no longer doing it the way that, hunting is nowhere near the way done in terms of the way that my grandfather and my pawpaw did it. It's just not done anymore. People don't want to do it. So when you want to get into hunting, it's really kind of it's kind of a happy moment for me personally, because it's like, oh, hey, somebody wants to actually learn about how to hunt. I had a couple people actually on one of my videos message me and says, hey, getting into hunting, what should I be doing, and things of that and other. I've had about a handful of people actually do that. So really awesome that they were willing to do it and willing to pursue that. Because there's a lot of benefits to hunting. A lot of great things that you can do. You get to be outside. That's one of the best perks about hunting. You get to be outside. 2, you get to, not only do I hunt, but I also love to take pictures of wildlife. I do that quite a bit. I've taken so many pictures of wildlife. When I went to Wyoming in June, oh my goodness, I bought a really nice camera. I bought a really nice camera. When I went out to Wyoming with my in-laws and my family, and that was absolutely one of the greatest times I've ever had. Absolutely loved it. It was almost, my trip to Montana was almost as good as my trip to Wyoming. Ooh, yeah, see all this fat, a little bit of fat. You see, that's bad. Deer fat is nothing. Let me reiterate. Deer fat is nothing like beef fat. It is not the same. Do not ground this up in your deer burger if you're going to grind it. It's not the same. But yeah, like I said, there's lots of perks to hunting. You get to have a really awesome hobby, because everybody that I know always asks me, oh, hey, how's hunting season going? And these people just don't hunt, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to hunt. But, people are, it's one of those things that a lot of people admire people that hunt. And not necessarily like me, but it's sort of a thing that's people are interested by, because it's like, oh, wow, you harvest your own meat, and you do all this, wow. And people are so amazed when I tell them that, I do everything in house. I cut the deer up, I grind it, all that crap. And they're just like, wow, that's so amazing. Because they're, a lot of people that I know, their grandfather or their dad kind of did some hunting, but they never got into it. And they're always like, yeah, well, my grandfather would always take it someplace and get it butchered. Well, my dad did this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And they're always just kind of blown away that I kind of, that I do everything in house. Like, wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's funny because my stepfather's the one that really got me into hunting, so he taught me everything I know about it. So big kudos to Luke, my stepdad. All right, let's get the next big piece out, huh? Oh man, I can't grab it. Go. I got my back straps, or tenderloin for everybody who doesn't know what that is. Got those in there. Those are really easy. All I got to do is slice off the silver skin and slice that off, and then cut it in 4 big chunks about yay big, because they're about back straps are about that big. So they're going to be about 6 inches, and well, probably more like 8 inches long, but yeah. But yeah, I've been doing that. Those are easy to do. Just got to get the silver skin off. And just got to get the silver skin off and cut it in half, and it's good to go. It's really easy compared to, like, you know, a ham. And tragically, I edited a video on this deer that I shot, and it's up, so go check that out. But tragically, though, the deer, when I shot her, oh my goodness, I mean, you'll see, she was blowing real hard. She knew something was up. She was very irritated with me. She didn't know what I was, but she didn't like me. She knew that much. And I kind of had to, my hand was forced a little bit to harvest her, but I ended up busting up both of her shoulders. Just, I mean, absolutely mangled. I did get some of it off, and it's already, there is some in there. It's like chunks, but kind of a bummer. But that's kind of, sometimes that's just how it goes. Like, there's really nothing you can do. You just gotta take the good with the bad and hope and pray that you have to try to make sure you make a good shot, you know. But sometimes you just don't. Circumstances. My circumstance was, I shot left-handed. I'm right-handed. It was only a 38-yard shot, but I also had to shoot her through some weeds, so that was kind of a bit of a challenge. And the crazy thing is, too, is like, there are people that can, like, cut up a deer ham in, like, no time flat. It's amazing. Me personally, like, I don't necessarily need to do this fast. This is a little bit of a therapeutic thing for me, so I don't have to do this as fast as possible. I do need to make sure that I get this going, though, a little faster, because the sun's still coming out, you know. It's shining on my back right now. So any sort of heat that sits on your meat is bad for it. It's not good at all. So kind of don't want to spend too long on it. Not too long. So I'll make sure that you keep any sort of meat cold. Very important. And like I said, I'm not too worried about how I cut this up. Like, because some people will tell you, like, the cuts of the meat. And I'm not too worried about that, personally, because I don't necessarily have to do this. I don't have to worry about that due to the fact that I'm just cubing it up for a crock pot meat. That's all I'm doing. And, like I said, 1 pound bags of crock pot meat, and for me, because like I said, my family doesn't eat it, tragically, as much as I would like them to. But 1 pound of deer cubes in a crock pot with some veggies. My friend's son is, whoa! Good for him. Awesome, Gary. That's amazing. Happy to hear it. It's good to hear young people are still wanting to do the hunting. Good for him. I have not. There is a buck where I hunt. It's a small 8-pointer. Not gonna harvest him this year. I'd rather kind of let that guy kind of grow if I'm able to. Which is another thing. I've kind of like had discussions with people about, letting deer grow. Had a guy, it was a guy that was in, I think it was Vermont, but he let a deer walk, and he was kind of like, he was a little upset by it, but he shot something later, but he was a little kind of bummed out by it. He was like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about, letting that deer walk, and kind of just told him, I said, look, dude, if you felt led to let that deer walk, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And anybody that tells you otherwise, tell them to mind their own business and stay in their own lane. Because the fact of the matter is, regardless, as long as you're hunting legally, there's absolutely no, what state are you? I'm in Virginia. If you decide to harvest a 4-pointer or a 14-pointer, whatever the case, as long as you're legally within the law, everybody else can just be quiet. And I'm a big supporter of that. Me personally, like I said, there are times where I don't want to harvest deer. Like that 8-pointer. It's a prime example. But, I really, I kind of hit on it a little bit on my video that I put out of this deer getting harvested. I really need to thin the herd out just a little bit, because there's a lot of does. There is, I don't have an exact number, but I'll tell you right now, there is probably, no joke, probably 30 to 35 does currently in the area that I hunt. And this is obviously a subjective view of it. It doesn't mean I'm right, it doesn't mean I'm wrong, but when you are hunting an area and you have too much of one thing, whether that is bucks or does, it's not good. It upsets the balance of the hunting environment, or generally of the environment itself, So it's very important to make sure that there's balance. Got some tough deer fat there. The reason why I'm not showing this is because I don't know what the guidelines are. So I don't know if I can just straight up be butchering an animal on YouTube Live. So that's why I'm not really showing you guys all the stuff. But rest assured, if there's any questions, I will answer. Come on, you. There we go. Okay. Some more meat here. And I will say this, so if you're kind of like new to hunting and you want to get into it, and you don't know, and let's just say you are able to harvest an animal, my advice to you, if you're able to, maybe look into butchering your own deer. But I want to say this with a word of caution, okay? If you live kind of in a warmer state, where like it is right now here in Virginia, don't, I would advise you to like let a beef processor do it, on the sole fact of like you don't want the deer to get ruined or go to waste. So if you still want to try, like, by all means, have at it. But just on the side of caution, make sure you are doing this in a timely manner, in a environment that is sort of like good for processing deer. I'm not too worried about it because I've done this before, but I also, I don't necessarily have to worry about it too much because I've done this, I mean, arguably, probably hundreds of times, because I've helped people process deer, my stepfather, his father, my friends. I've done all this, so I've arguably processed deer hundreds of times. So, but that's just kind of like a exercise. It's caution if you're getting into it for the first time and you don't know exactly what you're doing. There's videos out there. I don't do the videos like that personally, and the reason I don't is because, like I said, it's just one of those things that it's just, I don't really want to do it. And the only reason I'm doing a live right now is because I just thought it'd be fun to do. So, what's up, Jace? How are you? So, okay. But like, if you're a first-time deer hunter and you don't know how to process a deer, just take it to a processor. Unless you live in a very, very, very cold state where it's I got a $250 deer. Does that mean you bought a tag? Is that what that means? Or did you pay somebody for a deer? Because, I mean, just exercising on a word of caution. I don't know if that's technically legal. I mean, me personally, I don't care, but just, if that's what you meant by that. I'm not sure what you meant by that. That's the way I go. The butcher has it all cut, wrapped, and frozen in 2 days. 50 pounds of meat processed for 80. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's actually, because it's a convenient thing that you're able to do. I'm sure that you could probably do it yourself if you wanted to, but I totally get it. Like, it's one of those situations where it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today. I'd rather go do this, We all have busy lives, and sometimes processing a deer is not something we're able to do, in that moment. I do think, though, like, personally, though, I do think that being able to process a deer yourself is a great skill set. I would love for my kids and my wife to get into this more, but they're just not into it at all. So, and that's fine. Everybody's got their thing. This is just the way I was raised. I was raised hunting, and that's what we did. Funny enough, though, my mother she cannot stand deer meat. But one of the funniest things, she will absolutely devour deer tenderloin sliced about like an inch thick, about yay round, inch thick, wrapped in bacon. Shockingly enough, right? It's kind of like, oh, okay. I will admit it is pretty good, though. We used to eat it like that a lot because, like I said, that's the only way that she would eat it. And me and my stepdad, Luke, we were like, just eat some. It's fine. I don't want it. It tastes funny. Okay, Mom. But the best part, like I said about this, is just, this is all 100%. I know exactly what's in this meat. It's just a deer. It's a very it's extremely convenient. You know, and also on another note, I just kind of thought of this. When you take a deer to a deer processor, I've heard so many people now I have heard some of my buddies that I work with have had problems with that. Granted, one of these packaging plants is no longer in business. I'm not going to get into that because there's some there's some stuff behind that, but like it's kind of interesting because the people that like take it to a processor, like I truly wonder if they're getting their deer back. I mean, not like, I guess realistically, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe, I don't know. But it's one of those things where, like, I know for a fact that this is my deer because it was in my cooler. But that's one of the, I remember I saw a big time hunting YouTuber or whatever. He was talking about that a little bit. And he was like, yeah, sometimes when you take your deer to get processed, you don't know if you're getting your deer back or some guy from 4 counties over. I'm like, oh, well, okay then. I don't know if that's like a normal thing, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never ever taken my deer to get processed by somebody else. So. See, yeah. Beautiful. 1-ish inch cubes like that. Pound of these in a crock pot. Some vegetables, some onion, Campbell's onion soup, a little bit of beef broth, and you know, later on with some rice or noodles. Not in the crock pot. Just do that separately. But and then some bread, some homemade bread. Man, that's a meal for me for like 3 days. Well, 3 meals. Because I mean, I will devour it. I prefer rice. I've kind of leaning more towards rice in that aspect, but noodles work fine too. And the best noodles to utilize for that, in my opinion, are egg noodles. You can use other stuff, but I would use egg noodles personally. That's just me though. It's okay for everybody to do what they want to do. Neighbors are out. I can hear them rummaging around. I know my neighbors actually. Not that, you know, anything bad of them by any means. I just never met them. Kind of keep to ourselves. Ow! Almost cut my finger. Thankfully, my nail was there. Uh-oh, got some hair. Got some deer hair on here. That's how you know it's like fresh, you know. You know it's legitimate. Get in there, you're eating, you pull a deer hair out of your meal, out of your mouth, you're just like... Oh, goodness. I don't know. Maybe that might be off-putting for some people. I don't know. I know it'd be off-putting if you were working in a restaurant, or if I was eating at a restaurant. Pulling out someone's hair. That would not be good. Whatsoever. Oh, there we go. Yes. Oh, yeah, that came out good. See that? Straight up silver skin. See that? It's all silver skin. There's a little bit of a chunk there. I might try to see if I can get that, but straight up silver skin needs to come off. A little bit on top here. And like I said, if you're able to do this safely, like if you live in a colder region, you know, definitely try this out. Try to process yourself. But, you know, I guess ultimately it's kind of up to you. Just make sure you keep everything cold as long as possible. Can't stress that enough. You don't want your deer to, you know, spoil. Be very, very tragic. Deer spoiled. Yeah, I'm still pretty bummed out that I'd actually busted up her front legs, but like I said, it's one of those situations where, you know, it is what it is. It's not like it's horrible. Because, like, and that's the thing, like, the front legs yield some meat, but what's up? Yeah, what's up? Hi. But that's the one thing, though, like, um, the front legs do yield some meat, 100%, but it's not like it's a lot. It's very, there's a lot of, I threw that in the wrong, threw that in the wrong pile almost. The front legs are very lean and muscular. There's a lot of just tendons and stuff in it, and like I said, it's important to you know, harvest all you can out of the animal. Like I said, I busted up her front legs pretty badly, but I was able to like kind of shave off bits of the meat, so I was able to like save some of it, thankfully. But at the same time, you know, the front legs don't typically take that long. Like, the front legs would probably, no joke, take, I don't know, if I wasn't like, if I was just sitting here quietly, not doing anything, talking with you guys, if I was just sitting here quietly, I'd probably be able to do the front leg, both front legs, in less than 20 minutes, easily. Yeah. My wife is definitely not going to be happy with me because I've been utilizing our picnic table in a very abusive manner. But to be fair, though, I bought it. See that right there? Like, see this right here? See how all this, like, this is tendons that are like in the meat, and you have to like, and all that silver skin right here. So you have to like really try to take that off, and this is just all tendons right here. And like I said, you can still eat it. It's not going to hurt anything by any means, but it's just going to be a very, very chewy, tough piece of meat. Extremely tough piece of meat. And some people, I don't know, some people don't wait, like, some people are like, oh, you're wasting. Oh, that's good to eat. Like, I'm like, yeah, I guess it is good to eat. The amount of meat you get back from a butcher, like, because you're not going to get every ounce of meat back, I guarantee it. Because they're going to be looking at meat and be like, oh, this is horrible. See, like this right here? See, this has all those tendons in there. See all that? It's a very, very rough piece of meat. This is the bottom of the ham. For lack of a better term, it's like the bottom of her calf. If I really had to give you guys an accurate description about this. And it's like the bottom of her calf. And I am actually going to chill this a little bit before I, package it up. So I will be doing that. Do that before I go to work, obviously. What time is it? 3:15? Oh my goodness. It's okay. It's fine. I don't got to be at work till 6. So I've got time. Yeah, I'm really glad because I worked last night, got up around, I don't know, like 1 something, 1:30. And I just kind of had it in my head, like, oh gosh, I got to take care of that deer today. Sometimes you have to like motivate yourself to get your work done, you know. But I'm really glad that I got myself motivated. Sometimes, you know, just, especially when I'm working night shift, sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. Because, you know, I got to go to work here. It's pretty much when I work night shift, I get up. I kind of like, I'm around the house for a few hours, then I go to work. I don't get to see my family. I get to see my family for a little bit in the morning for a split second, but other than that, that's about it. Kind of a bummer. Beautiful, beautiful red meat. Absolutely amazing. And like I said before, guys and girls, you know, like I said, I'm cubing this up. Just cubed meat. You don't need to worry about going with the grain or any of that. I mean, this is just literally going to be thrown in a crock pot. Thrown in a crock pot and cooked on low for 8 hours or longer. And it'll get nice and tender and juicy. So you don't need to worry about, you know, cutting with the grain or any of that. So nice, getting a little dull. Got some on my pants. There we go. Got some silver skin I wanted to slice off. Oh, they're perfect. See that right there? Thin. I mean, that's paper thin. Paper thin silver skin. You don't want that. It's bad. Very bad. I've not gotten to the that tendon yet. It's right here on this big piece on my right. So, be getting to it very soon. Thankfully, there has not been any flies around, but now all of a sudden, it's like there's like 4 flies that came out of nowhere. Perfect, see that right there? Perfect cubed meat. It's going to be absolutely amazing in a crock pot. It's going to be epic. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to cook some up. The best part is too, you know, you put one, like I wake up early. I like to do this quite a bit actually. I do this a lot. I wake up early to go hunt, right? And I prep everything the night before so I'm not fumbling and trying to, like, you know, get everything squared away while I'm trying to get out the door to go hunting. But prep everything the night before, all my veggies, all my soups, and then wake up, go in there, my meat's thawed out, put the meat in the crock pot, pour my juices, put my veggies in there, whatever veggies I'm going to do, put it on low. I go out hunting all day and I come back home either with or without a deer, depending on how successful the day was, and I have me a deer. Regardless, I'll have deer one way or the other. I do that quite a bit, though. I used to do that when I was prior to me getting married to my wonderful lady. Prior to that, that's what I used to do all the time during hunting season. I used to just wake up, prep the crock pot, go out hunting all day, come back home with or without a deer. Then I would, the sun went away. much good. Then I'd come home and with or without a deer, and I would have me some deer one way or the other. Oh yeah, it's perfect. Look at that. Perfect. Absolutely amazing. Alright, now we're gonna hack into this big old hunk of meat right here. And I will say this. So one other thing, for anybody who is either new to hunting or doesn't know, so if you let your deer hang for a few days, if you're able to, and let it freeze up some, it'll definitely help with the butchering process, okay? So just a little tidbit, because you'll be able to, like, see right now, like, see this meat has been sitting in a cooler of ice, and it's not exactly like to the point where you can just like rip it apart, because if you do it properly and you're able to let it hang for a day or two or longer, like back in, like, that's another thing, I'll get to that in a minute, but if you're able to let it hang for a day or two or longer, it's really going to help with everything, so if you're able to do that, I would totally 100% suggest you do that. But anyway, back to what I was saying though. Let's get some of that off there, because there's still some good meat on there. What was I going to say? Oh, darn it, I forgot what I was going to say now. Fiddlesticks. Kind of bummed out. I can't remember what I was going to say. Sorry, guys. Oh well, probably wasn't important. Save that piece. Oh, that's a good piece. So, on a side note, just kind of a random thing I just thought about, where I was able to harvest this beautiful deer, I was actually able to, I'm pretty confident I bumped a bobcat. Again, I ran into one on another hunt where I harvested another deer. So maybe that bobcat is just my, I don't believe in this, but maybe that bobcat is my good luck charm. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of neat to, like, I've never actually been able to harvest a bobcat. I know people that have, and I think it's kind of neat. I think it'd be kind of cool, but I don't know. I'm a little I have feelings about harvesting animals that I'm not going to eat, which I'm not saying if I did harvest a bobcat I wouldn't eat it, but I just don't know. I've heard people say that mountain lion and bobcat is fine, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't know, it's just like it's a cat. But I guess, like I said, it's one of those situations where I really, I like to be respectful to the animal, because like animals, I'm not like PETA by any means, but like animals deserve respect, and they don't deserve to be abused and hunted just because they are appealing in some way, shape, or form. I don't think so. I don't like when people just, that's one of the things, like I know people, and I guess this is a personal opinion that I'm solely, it's a sole opinion based off of like an emotional appeal, I guess. But I know people that hunt, that trophy hunt. That's all they do. And, I guess objectively, I think that's right. I think I'm using, I guess realistically, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as they're following the law. Because it's interesting, because some people, like, they'll harvest an animal and then they'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to give this for Hunters for the Hungry. And, that's fine. Like, I'm fine with that, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, you're not going to eat the animal? And I guess, like I said, technically speaking, they're not doing anything wrong. But at the same time, though, I think it's a little, just like I said, this is just solely an emotional appeal for me. But it's just one of those things where it's like, for me, it just feels wrong for the animal. Because, like I said, you're just, at that point, why are you hunting? And don't get me wrong, everybody wants to, kill a big buck. I get it. I want to kill a big buck. I'm looking forward to it. I hope and pray the good Lord blesses me with one in Pennsylvania. But at the same time, though, people, all they do is trophy hunt. And none of, like, one guy I know, he doesn't even eat the meat at all. He never does. He always gives it to his family. But I guess to be fair, he's feeding his family. But I don't know. It just seems taboo. It seems taboo to go out, harvest an animal, and not utilize its meat properly. Which is another reason why I've been so, I've been a little hesitant with certain other animals. Partially, that's part of the reason, not the whole reason, mind you. Because, like, I'd love to go bear hunting. I would love to kill a beautiful, big, male grizzly. We don't have grizzlies in Virginia. A big male black bear. I would love to be able to do that. And we have a lot of black bear in Virginia. To be quite honest with you, we kind of have a problem because nobody hunts them. Because it's a bit of an annoyance to hunt them. And it's, there's so many freaking restrictions and rules on hunting black bear in Virginia. The game wardens like to just write you tickets for no reason. I know that sounds like I'm being unreasonable, but literally, game wardens will just write you a ticket for absolutely no reason. They will make up, I don't want to say they'll make up, but they will purposefully harass you and look for reasons to give you a ticket. Now, obviously, if you're breaking the law, obviously, you shouldn't be doing that, but it's a very double standard thing. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Let's not dive down into that rabbit hole, because that's not, I don't want to do that. Anyway, yeah, harvesting animals without eating them is just taboo, in my opinion. I don't think that should be something that should be done. I think it's a little disrespectful to the animal, which is, like I said, part of the reason why I've never actually done a bear hunt. And also, I've never hunted bear because I've never been given the opportunity to hunt a bear, and nobody ever taught me how to hunt a bear. So it's one of those things where, maybe one day I'll get into it. I would like to try and do it. I kind of tell myself every year, like, I'm going to try and do a bear hunt, and I kind of don't. But, I don't know. Maybe this year, maybe next year, maybe never. I don't know. But I would love to be able to harvest a big male black bear and kind of do a cape. I know that sounds kind of, you know, a little counteractive to what I just said, where like, you know, I don't want to trophy, you know how I feel about trophy hunting, but at the same time though, you know, I've been wanting to do more in terms of utilizing the whole animal. So that's why, like right now, I have both of those deer, their hides in there tanning right now. So I am trying to see, that's the tenderloin. I'm trying to utilize the deer as much as possible, and I think that is that's the best way that I can do it. You know, obviously there's probably like, I mean, there's probably 1,000 other things that I could do to, like, you know, utilize the animal respectfully, but I'm not, I don't have, you know, the knowledge, but I also just don't, realistically, I just don't have the time to do, you know, everything, you know, making bone broth with the bones. And like I said, I'm not saying that anybody that doesn't do it is bad. I'm just saying, you know, if you're able to, try to utilize the deer, every part of the deer, as much as possible. I know for a fact that some people, buddy of mine, he's actually holding a coon hide for a friend of his. And, you know, you can process the deer and then sort of, oh, man. Dang it. There we go. Perfect. You could process the deer and also save its hide. And I know some people don't like to do that, and that's fine. I get that. But some people, like taxidermists and things like that, like if you process a hide and sort of store it properly, I don't know if they'll buy it from you, but they'll definitely take it, I'm sure. I don't know exactly how that works personally, never done it, but I know that my buddy, he is saving a hide for somebody that is, you know, getting a deer done. So, trying to do this right. See, this is the silver skin that's on the back side of the strap. So you want that all, you want all that on. Do not, I mean, this is probably the best meat on the deer. I beg you, if you're going to take if you're not going to take the silver skin off the deer, that's fine, but please take the silver skin off of the tenderloin. It will make a difference, promise you. It's very this is a very good piece of meat, and it's always tragic when people sort of waste it. Got a little bit there. See that? Look at that. Check this out. Check this out. Boom. See that right there? Throw that in a skillet, some butter, or olive oil, whatever floats your boat, garlic, pepper, salt. Sear it for, you know, I mean, this right here, you can probably get the pan hot, sear it for 5 seconds on both sides. 5 seconds on both sides. It's good to go. But tragically, that kind of I'm gonna just hunk this up into like pieces of the other meat. And this is not actually the way that I was taught how to do this. So a way that I was taught how to do this to deal with the tenderloin, my stepfather, which, like I said, there's no right way, there's no wrong way technically, as long as you're utilizing the deer properly. But what my stepfather taught me how to do, like, he would take it and he would slice it. Well, here, let me just, maybe this will work. Yeah. Okay. So he would just basically the silver skin. I'll do it on this one since this one's not. This one's done. So, but he would take it and see the silver skin still on here, right here. So he would take it and he would slice it like this to start off with, and then come over with it like that. See, and you got like a big, just kind of like slice of tenderloin, right? And then, like I said, there's that silver skin flap. I've gotten away from doing that. That's how I used to do it all the time, but I've gotten away from doing that because I don't really particularly care to do it that way anymore, because I've kind of gotten to the point where I'd rather just cook a hunk like this on the grill and do that like that. That's where I've gone with that. I'd rather do it that way. But like I said, as long as you're utilizing the deer properly, you know, make sure you use as much of the deer as possible. Trying to get some of this top skin off a little bit. There's a couple of little pieces of. There we go. Okay, so yeah, see that right there? This is the back end of the loin, towards the like this, towards the front portion. Not the back. This is towards the front portion, where her front shoulders are. So, yeah. A couple strands of deer here. And like I said, I'll just take it right here. See, I got to get all this off. This all has to come off. And I'm just going to cut it right about here and have 2 more cuts. And, oh, and another thing, like I said before, if you freeze, like if you let this hang in really, really, really cold weather, you can actually just rip, pretty much, you know, it's real easy to do. You can pretty much just rip this silver skin right off. Like I said, that's why it's the best thing. If you're able to let your deer hang in really good cold weather, it's the best thing for your deer. It doesn't spoil, it doesn't go bad, none of that. It's really good for it. A little bit of this silver skin off the top. Have just a little bit like that right there. See? That wouldn't hurt it. I'm being a little picky here, but like I said, this is sort of just, this deer is going to be for me to eat, and I like it the way I like it. And if I can get the silver skin off, then it makes the deer, in my opinion, it makes the deer twice as better. Because, I mean, I'm not going to say that, you know, oh, you can't taste the difference between, you know, beef. I think it's funny when people say that, like, you know, they're like, oh, I can't taste the difference between, you know, a beef cow and a deer. And I'm like, you're full of it. Because there is a difference. There is a big difference. I don't know if it's just they're trying to say that to act tough. I don't know. I'm just like, you're full of crap. If you were to sit deer, some venison, and some friggin' beef in front of me, I could tell you right now, I could tell you from smelling it which one was which. That is, like, there is a difference. It's not a bad difference, it's just there is a difference. What's up, everybody? We're just sitting here butchering up the deer I shot on Monday by the grace of God. And one of the things also, as I said before, if you're kind of getting into this, if you want to get into this and you want to start butchering your own meat, you know, just understand that you're going to make mistakes. And over time, you'll be able to develop your skills. But don't let things like this deter you from like trying to actually butcher, or excuse me, from deter you from wanting to try out hunting. Because I promise you, if you try out hunting, I promise you, it'll be one of the best experiences, one of the best things you'll do. It's very rewarding. There's just so many positives to it. It is time consuming, you gotta put some effort into it, but it's amazing the things that you benefit from hunting. And I challenge anybody and everybody who is willing to give it a go, to try it out. Please. I promise you. I don't think that you'll, I promise you, I really believe in my heart that if you give it a go, I think you'll really enjoy it. Look at that. Paper thin. Nice. I'm joking. Look at it. Oh goodness. But yeah, see that right there? See that silver skin? Like this is just tough, rough, it's chewy. You know, you put that in with your good red meat, it's just not good. Not good. Now we just gotta do this and this is done. Like I said, I could have done this. I probably could have done this, and I mean, this is a big deer. Like, this is a real big deer. She had some pretty big hams on her, but I probably could have got this done if I hadn't, like, you know, hadn't been talking so much. Probably could have got this done in 45 minutes, but it's not a big deal. She's not going to spoil by any means, thankfully. On a funny note, you know, some people are really like sensitive to the whole like eating red meat raw, that kind of thing. Believe it or not, you can actually eat red meat raw. I don't know if I would necessarily advise it, but you can eat it raw. If you're in a situation and you're just like starving and you gotta eat, you can straight up eat red meat raw. If you have the option to cook it, I would definitely say cook it first. But the only difference is when you eat it raw versus cooked, it's just when you eat it raw, it's harder for your stomach to digest the meat. So, and there's always stories of, like, you know, the Native Americans eating, see that right there? Silver skin, bad. You know, like they'll like eat things back, you know, long time ago. They would kind of like eat these certain things, and mountain men would do the same thing, you know. And the only difference between eating it that way and cooked is the fact that you would have to really, your body would have to utilize energy to digest it. So there we go. All done. Boom. 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, look at that. Back straps. And these bad boys, I mean, this right here, like, I'll eat this whole thing. And this is actually fitting because I have 5% remaining on my battery. So I'm going to get off here. I appreciate everybody who did show up and hung out with me for a little bit. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Have a good time hunting. Get into it if you want to. And all that being said, guys, I hope you come along with me and watch my videos on the Pennsylvania hunt. I'm going to do the best I can to film those. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And see you guys next time on the hunt.